Hey, this is David Breslow back here with you. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. I am the founder of Performance Success Strategies and the creator of Wired to Win. So stay tuned. I'll be right back in a moment with today's Performance Insight. Today, I would like to talk to you about what I call the C word. That's right, the C word. And of course, the C stands for confidence. I've been in this business for over 25 years, and confidence is probably the most consistent word that comes up when I'm working with people, or if I'm asking them what it is they'd like to see more of. Confidence comes up more times than anything else, the word confidence. So here's something really interesting. I'm going to ask you to stay tuned here, because today I'm going to give you a rock solid way for you to maintain confidence on a consistent basis. Because here's how most people experience confidence. And this is true of golfers, tennis players, creative artists, and people in life in general, no matter what life arena they're in. This is how most human beings experience confidence. And I call it the pendulum swing. The pendulum swing. So if you can picture a metronome on top of a piano, or a pendulum that is swinging back and forth and back and forth, that's how most people experience confidence. It goes back and forth, back and forth. When they're doing something well, they tend to experience confidence. When they're not doing something well, or they're not getting the results they want, or the outcomes they expect, ding, 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 the pendulum swings to the other side, and it's constantly going back and forth. And it is a horrible way not only to go through life, but to play tennis, or to play golf, or to be a creative artist. Because that means you are completely at the mercy of outside conditions to make yourself feel good and to make yourself feel confident. And that is the absolute wrong way to go about it. I would say that over 85% of the people I work with, no matter what arena they're in, will tell me that they base their confidence on outside conditions. How am I doing? Am I playing well? Did I get cast? Did I get a smile in the audition room? Did I get a favorable response? Am I winning points on the tennis court? Am I winning matches? And so on and so forth. And in general life, do people like me? Am I comfortable in different areas? And am I being my best in every arena that I go into? All of these are examples of human beings using the outside conditions as the basis for their confidence. And I'm telling you right now, that is backwards. Because if you're doing that, I promise you, that is why you're experiencing a lack of confidence. And if you're also basing your confidence on outside conditions like results, you are also guaranteeing that your confidence level will go up and down. Okay? This is not a theory of mine. It is how the mind and body are put together. So the problem, number one, the problem is your focus. If you're focused on things you do not have total control over, let me repeat that. If you're focusing on things you do not have total control over, I promise you, you will experience a lack of confidence. You will hesitate, you will doubt, you will experience more fear, which will result in a lack of confidence. Is it because I say so? No. It's a law. I'm going to call it a law because it's true for everybody, everywhere, and at all times. That's what a law is. So the reality is, if you're going to focus on things that you have less than total control over, your mind and body are going to react to that. And the way they react to that is the experience that you're having of doubt and hesitation and a lack of confidence. It's automatic. It's got nothing to do with my opinion. It's the way we're put together. So what's the solution? Well, obviously, the solution is to focus on something you do have complete control over. And when I say complete control, I mean complete control. Not 90%, not 95%, 100% complete control. So what happens in the mind and body when you do that? Well, if you can look at the mind and body just like it's an actual person, what really happens is you're basically sending that person that message that this is something you can do. And as long as the mind and body realizes you're asking it to do something that it can do, meaning something you have total control over, it begins to relax. The mind slows down, the emotions become more even, the physical body gets nice and calm and less tense, and your energy flow is much more smooth. Now, that seems kind of miraculous, but that's the way we're put together, and that's exactly what happens. And again, you have your own proof. You don't have to believe me. Look back at the times that you've performed your best. Look back at the times that you performed your worst and ask yourself this question: what was I focusing on? I promise you that the answer to that question will be either something you have less than total control over or something that you do have total control over. So I want you to start to make that one-to-one correlation, because there's no accident in that. So that is the key message here today. If you would like to have confidence that is unshakable and that is consistent, all you need to do is ask yourself, what am I focusing on right now? And when you discover that you're focusing on something you have less than total control over, you can now re-choose to focus on something you do have total control over. So what's an example of something you do have total control over? I'll give you a couple things here. I go over more of them in the program and the live coaching, but I'll throw a couple at you here. Total control over breathing. Do you have total control over whether you're breathing properly or not? The answer is yes. If you think it's anything but yes, you have a problem. So breathing is one of them. Doing your routine properly. Whatever you're doing, whether you're an actor or a tennis player or a golfer, you have a performance routine that you do in preparation, which is something you have 100% in total control over doing properly. Don't you? Because if you say the answer is no, then once again, you're having a real problem, because the answer is yes. And if you think somebody else has control over that, that's a big mistake. That is a big mistake. So you have control over breathing. You have control over doing your routines properly. You have control over setting up, either to play a point on the tennis court or in a dress position over a golf ball, or setting yourself up to go into an audition room. You have complete control over how you do that. That's 3 things right there. What else do you have complete control over? Well, guess what? You have complete control over the choices that you make. That's 4 things right there. And if you think you don't have complete control over the choices you make, you better check yourself out there. Because if you think the answer is no to that, that's another reason you're experiencing a lack of confidence on the golf course, on the tennis court, in the audition room, or in life. Because the truth is, you do have complete control. So now, hopefully you can understand, because you focus on things you have complete control over, your mind and your body are now responding to that in a way that feels good, because basically you're asking it to do something that it knows how to do. You understand that? If somebody asks you to do something that you actually know how to do, don't you feel better? If somebody asks you to do something that's a complete mystery and you've never done it before, don't you start to feel a little bit shaky about that? Well, guess what? Your mind and body are exactly the same way. When you give it instructions by focusing on something that you have complete control over, it literally starts to slow down and relax. The mind slows down, the body starts to relax, there's less tension in the muscles, the emotions are in a much more even keel. It's incredible how we're put together. So, in today's message, what I really want you to understand is you can get away from that ridiculous pendulum confidence that goes back and forth and you're totally at the mercy of your results, which you do not want. So now you know the solution. All you need to do is find something that you have total control over, and I gave you 4 examples here. You can find more. Actually, the list isn't that long. The list is much longer of the things that you have less than total control over. That list goes on forever, and that's what so many people get lost in. The list of things you do have total control over is a pretty darn short list. It really is. So I got you started here today. I'm asking you to take this seriously and go apply it. So I would love to have your feedback in cyberspace. leave a message. We'll be happy to get back to you. Or depending on where you're listening to this, make sure you take a look at any one of the websites that is probably listed below. If you're a golfer, I'll just put it right out here. Please visit me at www.mentalgolfcoaching.com. Would love to have you visit there. Take a look at the Wired to Win approach. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. You can literally start to transform the way you live, work, and play the game. And there's probably a couple other websites listed depending on where you're watching this as well. But for the golfer, www.mentalgolfcoaching.com. Please leave a message here. Would love to hear your experience. Let everybody know how you're doing with this. So Dave Breslow, thanks for hanging out with me. I look forward to talking to you real soon.